All right, Boudro's camp. Camp 2 just kicked off. You got Dave Morgan up here, NCAA finalist for MSU, and now the coach of Wrestling University in Rochester. First off, how's the club going? How are things going for that club? And it's a few years in now, and you see a lot of success on the My Way scene. How do you feel about your guys coming through there?
Everything's been going pretty well over the last couple of seasons. We actually moved to the facility over in Sterling Heights over the last season, so it's been going well. The fall season with the My Way and the folk style season, we had hoped to get into the freestyle Greco season. That didn't really pan out right now, but going forward, we'll have a more consistent place to be, and development-wise, the kids have been doing well. A lot of the kids that we've had over the last couple of years are continuing through the club and continue to go through and developing along with the system that we have, so that part is great.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to pick your brain on the topic of youth wrestling, and we had a couple conversations up here. And one of them was a comment that you overheard kind of from a younger parent or parent of a younger kid at camp, talking about the importance of I think it was a 4th grader or 5th grader and success at that point. And what's your take on that? And you just kind of bounce what your thoughts are on that.
Well, yeah, the conversation pretty much was, we're on the mat with the younger kids, and there were a couple kids that were, elementary school age, 4th grade, 5th grade kids that were, just going through the camp with some of the older kids. And one of the dads potentially came up to me, or actually came up to me and said, "Hey, how's he doing?" I was like, "He's doing great. He's going through the camp and he's grabbing exhibition matches and things like that." And he's like, "Well, he's got to pick up his pace. He's got to do this, for him to be a high school state champion." And it's like, no, he's wrestling with older guys right now. He's enjoying himself. He's having a good time, and it's not at this point in time in 4th grade. My comment to him was that there's a lot of counselors and a lot of clinicians here. If you go and ask them how good they were in 4th grade, and a lot of them weren't very good, and that includes myself. That was my first year of wrestling, so I wasn't very good in 4th grade either. So it doesn't. You don't have to be the best wrestler in 4th grade to be successful later on in the sport of wrestling.
And then the other thing we're talking about is your own kids. You've got 4 boys. 3 of them wrestle, correct?
Correct.
As of right now?
Yes.
For them, it's a seasonal thing, and you were kind of breaking down the schedule. How often do your kids compete, and what are their ages?
So my kids, my oldest is 12.
Nope.
Yep.
We got the lights moved down.
All right.
No, all right.
So my oldest is 12. My second son is 10, and my 3rd son is 7. So they all started with novice season. Did 4, and pretty much the schedule was they did 4 novice tournaments, and then put them into the regional tournament, and saw to see what happened there. And obviously they're making, for My Way, they're making the top 4. Then they go to the state meet and go from there. Never really had conversations with them about, okay, you're wrestling novice matches, and then you get to regionals, all this big time, and then now you're at the state meet. It was just, okay, here you're in this tournament here and there. So it's been a more so of, we're going to go to a certain amount of tournaments, come back, continue to develop, continue to go through the system, continue to work on certain things. We're not at tournaments every single week. We're not at big national competitions all the time. It's just more local competitions for those that are in competition. For my own kids, they've only been to local tournaments, roughly about 20 matches per year. My oldest son has done 3 seasons. My second son, I think this is his 2nd or 3rd season, and my 3rd son, he had his 1st season last year.
Yeah, and your 7-year-old first year actually won the My Way state tournament. Having a lot of success out of the gate like that, is that something that maybe worries you, or do you handle it any differently?
No, it doesn't worry me at all. I mean, he had a great season. It wasn't a thing where we sat down and had a goal sheet and said, hey, you're going to be a state champion at 7 years old. He just, so happened to develop with his age group. He had a season where he actually, came in and practiced, and that's pretty much how I let all of them come in. Like for the first couple times in the room, it's, okay, we're here coaching. You guys are able to come to practice and do calisthenics, do all the gymnastics things that we're doing, the basics. And, he did, last year he would come into practice. He might make it, he only made it through like the gymnastics part. And then right before the season, he says, hey, Dad, can I wrestle this year? Yeah, if you can make it through practices. And he said, I'm going to make it through practices and I'm going to wrestle. So that's how that developed, and he made it through practices, and he just continued to develop, and it was the same thing. He went to 4 novice tournaments, and he went to the regionals and won regionals, and then went to the state tournament and wrestled well and won the state tournament. So it wasn't a specific thing of there, and there. So now it's one of those things that he's had success. It builds a lot of confidence in him, which is great to see. His older brothers are obviously very supportive of that, and it's a good thing for family and conversations and all that stuff. But again, like even with this camp, he's got the opportunity to come here and wrestle. He may come into a session, and then he may not. It just depends on how he's feeling at that day.
What's the importance of your boys, playing other sports and not going into that sport-specific training, really, just developing as athletes as it pertains to wrestling?
Me personally, I'm a big proponent of multiple sports, multiple opportunities for kids to get involved. My kids right now, they play multiple sports. They've been in soccer, wrestling. They're big into lacrosse, and they play football, gymnastics. So they've been involved in multiple sports. Even myself, all the way through high school, I played multiple sports all the way through my senior year. I didn't just solely focus on wrestling until college. So I'm a big proponent myself for kids playing multiple sports as long as they possibly can. And then obviously if they can focus on certain skills throughout the year. If they're a year-round wrestler, then great. If that's what the kid and the family's decided. Just for us, it's just always been a big emphasis for the kids to be in multiple sports.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all I got. You got anything else for me on the topic of youth wrestling?
No. Thank you for the time again, and I love everything that Michigan Grapplers are doing. So
yeah,
thank you very much.
Great to see you, and appreciate the time as always.
Thank you too.